Welcome along everyone to WOR Console Tier 1. We are here tonight for round number 4 of the championship, and it is the Brazilian Grand Prix. And as you can see out on track, these drivers really do want to get on with things. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking through the action, of course, tonight, as always, on this fine Friday evening. And joining me in the commentary box, it is the two-time Xbox Tier 1 champion. It is Mr. LCR Leopard. Leopard, how you doing?
I am not too bad. It's good to be back for the second week running here in tier number 1. Glad to be here. Glad to be here in Interlagos, another classic track like Spa last week, and well, we'll see if any further drama unfolds like we got at the bus stop chicane on the final lap last week. But yeah, no, happy to be here.
Happy to be here indeed, alongside you as well. I think Shazoo Tom, if I'm not mistaken, is the first man out on track. Not to be confused with the T. Roberts that won gold in the sport climbing early on in the day as well. Mr. Tom Roberts himself on the run now down in toward the left-hander of turn number 1. We'll see what this lap time is going to be, and it's good to see him in an Aston Martin, which is his proper car for Console Tier 1 this season. Coming through the left-hander now of turn number 3 at the Senna S, but he's already invalid through the Senna S's.
Yeah, a bit of a track extension on the exit of turn 2, easily done. Trying to just carry that a little bit too much corner speed through the second part of the Senna S's. But yes, as you mentioned, it's nice to see the actual cars out on track. I think it makes for much easier viewing, makes it easier for us, it makes it easier for everyone involved when we can use the official cars. Let's hope it's actually, they are actually used when we're not just gambling for gambling's sake here. But yeah, nevertheless, good to see them. And yeah, who's on a flying lap? It's one of the Red Bulls, I think, is the furthest round after Tom backed out on his invalid lap. Looks like Volkonga. No, is it Volkonga? No, it's not.
It is.
I'm getting lost. This is a great start.
I don't
It's
know.
not even a Red Bull.
I don't know who
It's
it
not even
is.
a Red
Is it a
Bull.
Williams?
We've got lost.
Is it
We've got lost,
Flopman?
James.
No.
It's Hazara in the RB. So here we go. Hazara up to the line. Set the first time of the session, and it's 1 minute 7.554. There you go then. Then times are going to start flying in. Gakowski 1 minute 7.2. Brando into 1 minute 6s. There's a Haas coming up towards the line now. Where can he put it? Barry Q7. Or Barack 7, should I say, up to the line. Also the 1 minute 6s at the time start flying in. Volkong and eventually gets over the line himself. And NLR Ryan there to the top of the timing screens, making it McLaren 1-4 provisionally.
And the Flying Scotsman coming in there in 5th position as well. And Cameron Dowd's not a bad lap there at all from him. 107 flat. Danny Van Ruyten on a lap. Furious on a lap as well. Furious, who is current championship leader, coming into tonight as well. He'll be looking to try and have that stranglehold on. TTM qualified, of course, for EML in the midweek. Furious on the run to the line goes 3rd behind his teammate Barack. So not a bad lap there at all from Furious. Ryan out on top, Barack in 2nd, Furious there in 3rd. Ryan, I would probably argue the point, clearly has no life at this stage, but I said that earlier on the stream, and he absolutely ratified for me for it a little bit earlier on as well. That was a few weeks ago in Mexico, I think, race that I did around there. But Ryan leads the way out on top, 106.8. This is one of his strongest tracks, albeit Barack there in 2nd, Furious in 3rd. So looking pretty good. James won to Joe Murphy cam. Joe Murphy's actually just finished his lap time, and in the RB, he is off track, and Kimi Räikkönen style, coming through turn number 12 there on the outside curve. 107 flat though, but Leopard, look at how close the field are. 17 drivers covered by 6/10 of a second, and I make that, what, 6 or 7 within a 107 flat?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you look at the top 12 even, that's like a 1/10 and a half, 2/10s and a half maybe. It's ridiculously close, and I think, you know, it's what we come to expect, to be honest. I think in modern day league racing, it's just so competitive, so close, and you know, I remember the days when I was racing, you could get away with being, you know, a quarter of a second, you know, off the pace and still, you know, being amongst in the top 5 and whatnot. Now, if you're a quarter of a second off the pace, you're outside the top 10. You know, it's ridiculous how close it is. Of course, Interlagos is going to exaggerate that because it's such a small circuit in comparison. Well, so to say, Spa last week. So there's definitely, you know, less time on the table. So it exaggerates those smaller gaps. But yeah, nevertheless, ridiculously close, ridiculously competitive. And that's just after 1 lap of qualifying.
And let's hope Quartz on this lap time will be dynamite as he comes now down in towards turn number 1 for Grand Track 10. Grand Track 10, of course, qualifying again for EML Tier 1 in midweek. Quartz was part of that lineup as well. Is a current WOR Console Tier 1 driver, as you can tell. And Quartz now down into the left-hander of turn number 4. At the Largo, 16.9 through the first sector. So not looking too bad, but he rides so aggressively on the curb. pretty much flicks the car sideways. Tom is more neat and tidy through there. He's purple in the first sector as well, compared to Quartz and the kick Sauber. The kick now comes in toward the right-hand turn number 6, but he invalidates at the Ranha, right at the top of the hill. Tom now coming through the same part of the track through Ferradura and in toward the Ranha, now at turn number 9, and Tom is not invalid. So Tom looking pretty good right now, down in 20th position. Still yet to get a lap time in, really fighting aggressively the karts. Ryan out on top though from Barak in second. Furious there currently in third, and Tom's middle sector is a 50.2, so exactly where you expect him to be, I think, right now. Coming through the left-hander of turn number 12 at Jun Sao, running up the hill, passes the beat off boxes on the right-hand side at turn 13, now through turn 14, flicking it left once again, pretty much to the final technical corner out on track at turn 15, on the run to the line, and Tom goes quickest with a 106.8. How long will that last? Who knows?
We'll find out in, well, probably a couple of minutes' time if that'll be it. Tom making up for his lap 1, turn 2 invalidation. Just casually chucks it onto pole position, does the Aston Martin. Let's see what the rest of the drivers have in response to that lap time. Let's see anyone going around to finish a lap. Looks like on the Ferraris, I think, round. I think that's just, no, it's on an out lap. We'll get there eventually.
I think Brando was on an out lap, on a proper lap actually. He's one of the first actually to set across the line. He's coming now through into the double right now at turn number 10 and looking to try and get a really good run out of Pico de Pato, known as Duckbill Corner around this track. Brando now coming to the left-hand of turn 11 into turn number 12. 50.4 is putting him on par with the likes of Barak and Furious with this lap time. Remember, Tom was a 50.2 through that middle sector, and now Brando in the McLaren on the run to the line. Currently sitting in 6th, the Italian from TRT on the run toward the line. Does he go quicker? Yes, he does. So Tom clearly not finding the time in the first and final sectors. Ryan's up on his time as well. He's about to come through the left-hand return number 11 as well. Brando though out on top, Tom in second, Ryan there in third, and Ryan's middle sector, 1,000th up, but he's sideways.
Sorry, just saw Cameron Dow's about to finish the lap, but I think he's about to go again. It's the Scotsman, so we'll see what he can do in about a minute or so's time. Let's see, one of the McLaren's coming up towards the line now. It's Ryan bailing on his lap. Couple drivers bailing.
Furious is purple as well, coming through the middle sector. Sorry to cut you off there. Now coming through the left-hand of turn number 15 on the run toward the line. This is looking like a good lap from the TTM man. 106.7? Yes, yeah. 106.791. Great lap time there from Furious. Brando there in second. Tom there in third. I think we've seen Danny Van Ruyten set the same lap time as Bola Kongan there, so he moves up into fifth. Third, Alex V there in seventh as well. Barak there in eighth, and Barak going again. 500s up through the first sector. So what can the Spanish wizard do coming up through turn 6 of Ferradura?
Yeah, looks a lot more tidy than, say, Tom's Aston Martin on his lap. Looked all out of shape through this middle sector. Barak looks a little bit more tidy. Looks like he's finding his apex as the wheels look in line. Obviously, different ways of going about it. It looks like it's providing similar amounts of lap time. And Barak is up, as now he starts to climb for the second time in this qualifying session. Here comes Barak then, up towards the line. DRS open for the Haas driver. What's the time going to be then? Up to the line. Oh. Goodness me, that's quite a margin. 10th and a half in it. It is a Haas 1-2 at the front of the field here in qualifying. But Barak, it's got a bit of daylight there.
He has got a bit of daylight there, and I normally say around this track, 1/10 and a half of a second is normally quite long, and honestly, I think with that gap, it's going to be very hard to come back from. We've got Joe Murphy in that lap right now. I think Sports has just started a lap, actually, coming through the centre rest now at turn 2 and 3. Kenzie saying in the chat, don't worry, Gabor, they ain't familiar with your name just yet. Still not familiar to us, because he's down in 10th position right now. Is the man down in the Ferrari. Quartz has invalidated, however, on his lap. I think Cameron Dowd is just on a down lap right now. Maybe he's run out of fuel, I think, coming up the hill and towards turn number 12 there. John Murphy, however, starting up a lap. He was part of the BRT team that qualified top, or second even, in EML qualifying midweek. Joe Murphy now coming to the left-hand of turn number 3. We're looking to try and get the BRT team once again on the board, and himself on the board here again at Legacy Division. He's 2.5 tenths up through the first sector. So Joe Murphy clearly liking that first sector more than what he did in the first lap.
Yeah, good start to the lap for Murphy as he now approaches the middle sector through the Ferraduras. And now again, it looks a lot more tidy than Tom, more similar to Barak, and it actually looks potentially even tidier than Barak. It looks very tidy through the middle sector for Joe Murphy, so we'll see what that middle sector time will be. Slight dying for the apex, a little bit through the Pico de Pato, and now through Megulo. Let's see what this middle sector time is going to end up being. It's another 50.2, so it's going to put him amongst it. And now, out of Young Sao for the final time, what's it going to be for the RB? I was going to say AlphaTauri for a second. The RB of Joe Murphy up to the line. DRS open, take as tight as he can. Now then, what's the time going to be? So he's all the ERS at his disposal. P3, that'll do nicely.
It'll do nicely. It was a little bit disappointing, that final sector, I'll be honest. They saved up all of that ERS just to have a really poor straight line speed coming across the line. You saw Barak up by 500ths of a second alone in that middle sector from his comparison lap to Joe Murphy. Brando now in a lap as a result, and he's up in the first sector, and he's getting blocked there by, I think that might have been an RB if I'm not mistaken. Certainly a car that was ghosted anyways, and Brando will definitely feel that he's been impeded on his lap, but he still continues on, misses the curb at turn number 10, tries to get the car rotated in, now through Magulio at turn number 11. We'll see what Brando's middle sector is. He's been blocked on this lap, and he is down, a 10th down in the middle sector. That'll be him done for this lap. Ryan is up in the first sector, Volokongan up in the first sector as well. Just trying to see actually who's furthest on a lap time right now. Flopman back into the pit lane, Quantum invalid, Hazara also, Quartz invalid, and Justin also 2/10 up in the first sector. So I think we'll go back to the man currently in P6 right now, Ryan, who is one of the first guys out on track. 106.848 for his name. We'll see what the German can do now coming through in towards Junsao at turn 12. His middle sector split 500 up. He's purple, but not purple compared to Barak's middle sector. So take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, it looked a little bit squirrely on entry, kind of really chucked it into Young Sao. We'll see how much that's affected his exit on the run up the hill. What's it going to be for the McLaren? Is he at the same lap time? Yes, hasn't he? Volokonga, meanwhile, puts it P3. So good lap from last week's race winner, and now, well, still just over 5 minutes remaining of the session. Still probably enough time to get back around and get another lap in. Of course, it's such a short lap here in Brazil. Probably enough time to do 4 runs, let alone 3.
Definitely so. Danny Van Ruyten on the lap, but he's down in the middle second. We'll see what the Shazoo man can do. Now coming through the left-hander at turn number 15, bails it into the pit lane. Thought he might do. He's back into the pit lane. Kick Sauber down in 8th position. Cameron Dowds is down in the first sector. Ryan obviously just backed off his lap. Barak, however, is on a lap right now. Didn't catch his first sector split. He's coming up the hill in toward the right-hander now. Ferradura at turn number 6. Pretty much right at the top of the hill. LV there saying in the chat, hello, good evening to you. Hope you are doing very well indeed with 4.5 minutes to go on the clock. It's Barak out on top, Furious in second. When was the last time we saw a Haas 1-2 in Formula 1? Probably never, to be honest, on this game.
Yeah, I was about to say, never, I think is the answer.
And Barak in the middle sector, 50.1 in the middle sector from Barak. He's 1700 up through the middle sector. And now the Spaniard flies up the hill, passing the speed of the boxes on the right-hand side, through the left-hander turn 14. On the run to the line, surely going to put it above reach. Cameron Dowd, however, goes second. Barak, though, surely putting it above reach, doesn't actually find the time in the end. It's Barak still out on top. Cameron Dowd in second, but that gap is what? 1.5 tenths still between Barak and Cameron Dowd. That is a big gap to have at this stage of the session.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. I think, you know, if you're Cameron Dowds, Furious, Volokongan, you've got to try and find an extra little bit that you just might not have thought you actually had. I think Barak's just got that little bit more, it seems, in his locker, in the tank. So, yeah, I mean, a lot could change in 3 minutes. I think, you know, definitely don't put it past someone like Cameron Dowds or Furious or Joe Murphy, Volokongan, or whoever, really. To be honest, don't rule out anyone. It's WR Console Tier 1. Don't rule out anyone of just chucking in a banzai lap and snatching pole away from Barak. But, yeah, it does look like, with 3 minutes to go, Barak's your favourite to take pole here in Interlagos.
Yeah, Barak is looking very good right now with 3 minutes to go in the session. Barak from Cameron Dowd, from Furious, from Volokonga in the top 4. Then it's Joe Murphy, Brando, Tom, Ryan, Danny Van Ruyten and Quantum top 10. Kakauti just came back in the pit lane along with Cloud LXB in 12th. Gabor in 13th. Gabano, who's recently joined Team TF10 as soon as today, so congratulations on him moving back to TF10 there in 14th. Maybe with a look to Legacy Division a little bit later on in September. Chelsea in 15th, Flopman in 15th, Chelsea 16th, and it's typical Justin Hazara, and then Quartz, this man here who we're on board with right now, who's about to start on his lap time. But judging by his ERS usage, I was about to say, I thought he was going to go for a double run, but he is not. He's going to go for a run down and towards turn 1, see how he copes. He's going to get the ERS back off again if he invalidates through this part of the track, which he doesn't this time around, and now the Kick Sauber embarks on the run down towards the Cedar del Lago at turn number 4. Down the Retro Posta we come in towards the Cedar del Lago, and he is up in the first sector. 16.8 in that first sector is good, but it's not quite Colin.
No, it's not. But he's got, he's got a lot of time to find him. He's on a 1 minute 7.3, so I think he'll be aiming just to get a couple turns, maybe get into the 60s, all kinds of shapes, and yeah, sensibly backs out of it. That was a very hair and scare moment entering the Ferradura in turn 6, and yeah, he'll back out, recharge the battery, and go again. So the advantage of going out that little bit early, if you do mess it up, you do have that extra run. Downside, your tire's a little bit more worn.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said, to be honest. He had more ERS saved, I think, at the start of his lap than anything. Tom, by the way, is up in the first sector as well. Ryan looks like he's up, and actually Tom was down in the first sector because he is backed off. Ryan, however, is coming past him, and I didn't catch his first sector split, but the German is looking good right now. Into the right-hander of turn number 6, pretty much up the top of the hill. Barak out on top, Cameron Dowd in second, Furious in third. With a minute to go in the session, please let us know who you think is going to take pole position here in Console Tier 1. I'm going to put myself on the line and say Barak is going to keep pole position. There is nobody beating him right now with that gap. Ryan, however, in the middle sector, 50.1! I may have just... Oh, he's had a slide coming out of turn number 12, though, and that's going to lose him all the time coming through this part of the track, and this is going to put him, I think, second. Right now, coming through the final corner, on the run line, I'll bet my bottom dollar he is second with this lap, and he is second. Ryan there, with that slight twitch coming out of Jun Sao, cost him pole position. Thank God I don't have to sell my house just yet.
yeah, your house is safe for another minute or two. Gabor! Well, we said earlier in the session, he hasn't, who was it that said that earlier in the session? In the chat?
Kenzie.
Yeah, there you go. Proven right this moment. Gabor, Flopman, last week's race, no, sorry, not last week's race winner, nearly race winner, puts it onto the front row. Gabor down onto the second row of the grid, but who can challenge Barak? Cameron Downs is entering this final sector split. He always well down. This is not a good one for the Aston Martin, and I don't think he's going to be claiming pole position. What about Furious, championship leader? No, his lap's gone.
Quantum looking quite decent as well, actually, coming up the hill in towards 10.14. He's purple in the middle sector, according to my screen. Plenty of retirements going on. Barak is still out on top. Quantum, though, was looking really good here. The Mercedes on the run to the line. Does he improve? He improves up to 6th. Good move up the field there from him. Brando is down on a lap time. Joe Murphy invalidated. Chelsea is down on a lap. Gatkowski's invalidated. Justin is through the middle sector, 50.3. Joe Murphy just absolutely smashed it into the wall there on the right-hand side. Through turn number 12. Now Justin coming up the hill in towards turn number 14. Down the hill in towards turn 15. I don't think this is troubling Barak for now. Cameron Dowd has retired from the session as well. I think pretty much everyone's done. Justin to the line remains in 15th. I think everyone is done. And that, by the tightest margins, that's Gavano. No, Gavano's down on the lap time. That is the end of qualifying. I get to keep my house. Barak out on top. Flopman in second. Gabor in third. But only by 0.002 of a second. But you know what people say about me. I'm Mystic James when it comes to predictions, and I've got another one right.
To be honest, when I saw Flopman's time go in, I didn't think much of it. I've only just seen the actual time and stuff. I didn't realise how close you were to losing your house, James. 0.002 of a second.
It's a good job I don't bet. It is a good job I don't bet on these things, honestly. If this was real world money, I think I probably would have lost, what, like 300 grand right now?
I think you'd be filing for bankruptcy.
I'll be filing for bankruptcy and everything else that goes with it as well. But right on top, from Flopman in second, Gabor in third. I think we're just waiting on Chelsea to retire there in the pit lane. As usual, Chelsea always late in terms of retiring from things like the Champions League and other Premier League. I hope you're not a Chelsea fan, by the way.
I am not.
Thank God for that.
Thank goodness for that.
Oh. Goodness me. Barack though out on top. Very good end to that qualifying session. We'll run you through the graphics and the standings and everything while we get the chance to. Barack out on top from Flopman there in second. Gabor in third. Ryan there in fourth with Gavano in fifth. Quantum there in sixth. Cameron Dowd in seventh. Watch out for him in the race as always. Furious there in 8th championship leader with Brando in 9th and Volokongan rounding off the top 10. Then it's Joe Murphy in 11th, Tom in 12th, then Chelsea, Danny Van Rooyen 13th and 14th, Justin Gatkowski, Cloud LXV, FRT typical, then Hazara and Quartz right down the back of the field. Quartz did actually get an improvement on that lap time. 5.5 tenths though off the back of the field, off Barack's time out there in pole position. We're going to go for an intermission break. I think we're getting a restart. If not, what we'll do is I'll show the championship standings now and the race results from last week, just while we get confirmation about potentially a restart. Volokongan won, of course, last week after that very, very electric final lap of the race, especially the bus stop chicane. Volokongan, though, won. Cameron Dowd in second. Toody finished in third. What did that do to the championship standings? And it looks like we are going to get a restart, which is good. Furious out on top on 43 points. Barack in second on 33. Ryan in third on 26, along with Cameron Dowd on 26. Joe Murphy on 25. Then Volokongan on 25. Flopman in 7th on 18. Toody in 8th on 17. Quartz in 9th on 15. And then Cloud Alex V in 10th on 14 points. Looking through those standings, before we go to our intermission break from our sponsors, Furious out on top by 10 points, currently holding that championship lead, but Barack's qualifying session there has put him right in the mix.
Yes, indeed it has, and well, I think you have to look back maybe to the wing damage he picked up in Spa. If it wasn't for that, he'd maybe be a lot closer, maybe even leading the whole thing, Barack. So yeah, Barack in good form, pole position. Will he be walking out as championship leader? Well, who knows? I mean, technically there's about 6 of these guys that could walk out as championship leader if all goes their way, such as the unpredictability early on here in WR Console Tier 1. But yeah, we'll see what happens in 36 laps time. It's Interlagos. Who knows what Interlagos will throw up here today.
Yeah, and because we have that dynamic weather as well, which is in all sessions now within Console Tier 1, and indeed I think across the whole of WOR, it means potentially, we saw it on the screen certainly from our end, it was a bit cloudy, but it was dry at the start of the race. But Brazil has the knack of throwing up a bit of rain here and there, especially in real life, where it absolutely pours down when you're in Brazil. Could we see similar scenes here tonight, potentially, if we are due to get rain, potentially within the race?
I wouldn't rule it out. Wouldn't rule it out.
Neither would I. Neither would I. I'm just waiting on an invite, by the way. It said I had one off Ryan, but that is no longer existing, apparently.
That's the point. Yeah, I should probably exit multiplayer and so I can see my game invites in the game, because obviously I'm on Xbox, so game invites is a little bit more trickier for me.
I had a game invite there, and it hasn't come through, unless that's the old one. There we go, there's another invite received. Oh, there we are. It came through on PlayStation this time. Lovely jubbly. I shall join that now, and when we get back up and running, you can have a word from our sponsors in the meantime of Grid Finder and, indeed, Next Level Racing. I was about to say GT Omega there, but that's another league. Anyways, we'll be back with you after this intermission break. Welcome back, everyone, to WOR Console Tier 1. Of course, my name is James Head, LTL Leopard, two-time Xbox Tier 1 champion, alongside me in the commentary box. And let's have a quick review of the standings for anybody that missed the quick rundown that we did a couple of minutes ago. Furious out on top on 43 points coming into tonight. Barack in second on 33, Ryan in third on 26, Cameron Dowds in fourth on 26, John Murphy fifth, 25, along with Volakongan in 6th on 25, Flopman in 7th on 18, then 2D in 8th on 17, Quartz there in 9th on 15, and then Cloud LXV in 10th on 14. Furious, though, out on top, 10 points the advantage. Barack, though, on pole position. We had the likes of Ryan, we had the likes of Cameron Dowds up there as well in qualifying. Furious might have more than he can chew, might have bit off more than he can chew at the start of the qualifying session there.
Yeah, indeed. Barack will be a clear favourite, I think, going into this Grand Prix. Flopman charged in right at the end, and he'll be amongst it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that run down to turn one will be an interesting one. Who gets the launch, the short run? So yeah, that first phase, the initial reaction, the controlling of the throttle, who gets that best out of the Flopman and Barack could play a huge role in the way this Grand Prix pans out.
Definitely so. I'm just going to do something very, very quickly indeed. My Discord seems to be bugging a little bit, so I'm just going to leave the commentary box. And then, hopefully, if it picks up, there we are. We are back, and hopefully that might not die again, because that's the third time in about 2 minutes that Leopard has left the commentary box in the background there. I have a feeling it's on my end, so that's why I've done that. But we are going to be out on track.
I'm not doing anything, I promise.
Yeah, you're not doing anything. I'm not doing anything either. It's really, really strange what is going on right now. Looking, though, at the grid and looking at what we've got out on track, it is overcast conditions at the start of this race, which means we could see hards, mediums are hards, I think, in this race. We could potentially see drivers aim it for a set of softs and then go on a set of hards at the start of the race. But I think, honestly, mediums, hards, mediums, very, very good around this track, and they're definitely more durable than at other tracks.
Yeah, definitely. Medium or hard tyres is definitely the sensible option. The soft is more of a rogue shout. It could work. Unlikely. I think I referred to this last week. There's a lot that needs to go right if you're going to make that soft tyre strategy work. So yeah, medium or hard tyres, it's a safer bet, it's a more sensible bet, so that's what I expect the majority of the field to go with, unless they've suddenly seen rain is inbound, and then they'll all chuck on a set of softs to basically charge the rain period.
Which could happen, and knowing Brazil, it probably will happen. You probably just said that now. We'll find out, though, because the 5 lights of better guys here in Console Tier 1. It is round for the championship, and it's lights out and away we go. And Barack gets a very good start. And we've got a glitch already. It says it's DRS enabled on lap 2. That's very strange indeed. And Cavano and Barack make contact in towards turn number 1. Everyone is ghosted, I think, coming through the left-hander now, turn number 2. Not sure if this is meant to be or if this is just a weird glitch. It feels like everyone is now fixing themselves. Cavano, I think, is invalid on our end. Flopman leads the way, Barack in second, Gabor there in third, Gavano's there in fourth, fighting out actually with Cameron Dowds on the left-hand side. Looks like there might have just been a visual glitch on my end with the graphics. Now coming up the hill, though, Gavano is side by side with Ryan, in toward the left-hander, or the right-hander even, at turn number 6, trying to get the job done. Around the outside is Ryan, on that sort of hard compound tyre. Everyone on the sort of hard, Gavano has a slight twitch, forces Ryan nearly off the curb, and up the inside line as well. There's a bit of front wing damage as well for Gavano. I think on the left-hand side end plate, I think he's actually got away with it, which is good. But Flopman leads the way, Barack in second, Gabor there in third. That race start absolutely threw me off.
Threw me off as well. Flopman, as said, we said the start could be a crucial one. Flopman's opted for a soft compounded tyre. Not the soft tyre, but he's gone for the medium. Barack and the majority of the rest of the field on the hard tyre. So Flopman going for the strategy of get off the line quickly, get to turn 1, lead this Grand Prix, and try and check out and build a lead early. Try and stretch the field, make sure there is as little a driver as possible to bother you for the rest of the Grand Prix. Only problem is now, because DRS opens a lap earlier, Barack, Gabor, Cameron Dowds and co. all have DRS, down that straight up towards turn 4, and now he's got this middle sector to find a couple tenths to break the DRS and try and check out.
Brando's going to look on the back of Ryan as well, further up the field. I'm on board with Tom. He's just got the move done on Danny Van Ruyten there in 13. Looks like Danny Van Ruyten has got a bit of right side end plate damage on that car as well, as Quartz flings it up the inside line of Typical there and tries to get a typical move around the outside of the FRT man. Good job done for the GT10 man. Quartz doing his into 17 on that set of soft compound tyres. So clearly wants to make inroads early on in this race. Hazard and Cloud via side by side. Somebody is off in the foreground. It's Flopman.
Yeah, Flopman's off on the exit of Youngstown. Got massive tank slapper on exit. That Williams did not agree with the inputs he wanted to make, and he spat him off. He just about saved it, but disaster for the Williams. He's dropped 2 positions. He so nearly had broken the DRS. Now he's down a third, and now he's got a mountain to climb, because now he's behind the 8 ball with those medium tyres for the rest of the Grand Prix. Here comes Gabor though, with DRS up the inside of Barak. Into turn 4. Is it job done for the Ferrari? I believe it is. Up the inside. The Ferrari leads. The Tifosi have gone mad.
But you know what? I think Flopman is actually now in the best position of the race, because I don't think you want to be leading the race at this early stage. Flopman there in 3rd. Might have had a mistake. He's going to be 4th soon, because there's Cameron Dowds up the inside line. Please do not have a repeat of last week of the bus stop chicane. Flopman on the right-hand side just about cuts Cameron Dowds off. It was deemed a racing incident, by the way. That incident. And Brando round the outside of Cameron Dowds, the Flying Scotsman absolutely off the rails there. Brando Fooney's into 4th, Cameron Dowds into 5th. Gabor there leading the way. Barak in 2nd, Flopman very deep on the brakes there. Coming through Johnstown now at turn number 12, running up the hill. In towards turns 13, 14 and 15 once again. It's going to be Cat and Hell's chance to try and get this move done. Cameron Dowds on the back of Brando. Brando's got the slipstream on Flopman. Brando now's got the slipstream on the back of Barak. Barak goes for the inside line on the race lead. On Gabor as well. 2 by 2 like Noah's Ark we go through. And it's Barak who loses 3 positions in the price of 1. Could lose 4 because there's Cameron Dowds now on the outside line of him. Down the straight, down the retroposter, in towards the seat of the Lago at turn number 4. Tries to get the job done around the outside line. Barak is too deep on the brakes though, keeps the move. Brando into the lead now, Gabor in 2nd, Flopman in 3rd. About as many changes as you'll see in the rush hour on the M1.
Goodness me, you just don't know where to look, do you? It was absolute pandemonium down into the centre S's here on lap 4. And yeah, just don't know where to look. There was moves going on left and right at the end of it all. Brando's leading the way on his medium compound tyre. Barak's dropped down to 4th, nearly to 5th. Gabor's managed to hold position in 2nd, and somehow Flopman has managed to keep on in 3rd place to limit the damage. Meanwhile, further back, it's still kicking off. The 2 Furious and Quantum are ghosting through this the end of this middle sector. Furious just about managed to keep hold of P8.
And Quantum is the one that's come out with damage and all of that as well. Right side end plate damage on that car. Not sure if that might have been existing early on in the race, but he certainly got damage from that. Furious on the back of Gabano might be a little bit furious with that move, if you pardon the pun. 2 wide in towards turn 1. Cameron Dowds up the inside line of Barak. Needs it for the championship potentially early on around the outside of turn number 2. But look who's there. Ryan, championship rival, is right there or thereabouts. The German on the outside line of the Scotsman. You know how Germany beat Scotland earlier on, and Germany's beating Scotland again, like they did in the Euros. Ryan to the inside line, now on the back of Barak. Now it's Spain against Germany running up the hill in towards turn number 5. Right at the top of the hill. The Legos block moment coming up very soon indeed. Gavano's off track with a bit of damage as well, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The Alpine trying to go around the outside line. It's a who's who in towards the right-hand return number 8. It's Brando out on top. Gabor 2nd, Flopman in 3rd. Please, guys, calm down.
I don't think they will. The DRS and slipstream is just so powerful. They are so close. I mean, it's literally tenths, even hundredths separating these guys coming down the main pit straight up towards the centre S here. As a result of the battling, though, Barak has dropped slightly. I mean, still with the DRS, but he's dropped slightly off the back of the front 3. So it's going to be the front 3 doing battle here to end lap 5, starting lap 6. There we go. Is it going to be 3? Why not? My goodness me, that was close. Between Flopman and Gabor. Gabor into the lead, Flopman into 2nd, Brando down to 3rd. Barak's just about holding on to P4. What's going on further back?
And Gabor actually ran deep in towards turn number 1 and 2, and this is going to give Flopman a very good chance to get the move done to the inside line. I think, though, he's just going to sit in back and relax. If that was Flopman of old, like last year, F123 Flopman, he would have went for that move down the inside line and put that car up the inside line. He's learned from his mistakes, which is really good to see, and Flopman on the back of Gabor definitely does not want to be leading at this early stage of the race. We're only a fifth of the way through, and I feel like we've had about 36 laps worth of action in about 6 laps. The ball leads the way. way. Flopman in second. Brando Barak third and fourth. Movement going on further down the field as well. Joe Murphy and Danny Van Ruyten are side by side. The Kick Sauber and the RB going side by side. Oh, and there goes Typical to the inside line. And that's contact with Volakongan. Volakongan, I think, has got left side end plate damage on the car, if I'm not mistaken. Or right side end plate damage on the car, if I'm not mistaken. Typical, they're down in 17th. Could have been a border. That was a really, really aggressive move to the inside line, and he now forces Cloud LXV off track. What has Cloud LXV done to deserve that? Now there goes Gatkowski with left side end plate damage on the back of him. Flopman's going for the race lead on the back of Gabor. Justin on the back of Gavano. It is all kicking off. We need to take Kravitz in the box with us.
Yeah, we can't. Two of us is not enough to cover all this action up and down the field. In the battle for the lead, battle for the podium. Is Flopman going for him? No, yeah, I think he wants to just chill for the time being. Fiora's having a look at Cameron Dowds into turn 4, but thinks better of it.
Oh no!
Now, oh, there is contact in the back between Alpine and who was it? Was it
it's
Tom?
Justin forcing off Gavano. That's what happened there. Justin forced off track. I think he had a mistake actually coming out of turn number 4. It'd be very good to see that on the replay if we can get that later on. Gavano though has got damage on that end plate, if I'm not mistaken. Justin certainly took the full brunt of that. Maybe side pod damage on that car as well. And that all spawned from them going side by side and Gavano losing it in the background and slicing his wing off into the back. I think Danny Van Ruyten, if I'm not mistaken. So all carnage going on. Here's Flopman for the race lead, by the way. It's never-ending, this stuff. On the back now and towards turn number 1. Surely this is the Frenchman's move on the outside line. Easy as you like for Flopman, and that's the easiest move you'll see all night, as it's Tom actually that's bore the brunt of that mistake from Gavano, because he is in the pit lane. He was the one with damage.
Yeah, it's not going to do his race any favours, especially has to come off the hard compound tyre to put on the medium and just probably hope for a safety car of some sort. Try and get back into this Grand Prix. What's going further back? It's right up the inside of Barak into turn 4. They're banging wheels through turn 4. Barak.
Oh no!
Cameron Downs and Barak. It's all gone wrong. Two championship contenders come into contact through on the exit of turn 4. It's a disaster for the Aston Martin, the Haas. It's delightful news if you're furious. Who's leading the way? He's up to 5th as a result, and basically anyone else who was having a sniff at that championship lead.
And that all spawned from Ryan diving it down the inside line. I'm just watching this back on the replay now. Ryan dived down the inside line, forced Barak off track. Barak's closed off Cameron Dowds. The handling models collected them both. Cameron Dowds pretty much ran for a gap that really was closing at the time as well. But in the end, two championship rivals have just taken it out of each other. Cameron Dowds now in 9th. And look at where Barak is, all the way down in 19th. So Cameron Dowds has came out on top of that. Stewards will definitely, though, have a look at that one. Barak is all the way down in 19th. He is going to be absolutely mad, but seemingly he hasn't got any damage from that, which is the positive thing that we can take out of that battle.
Yeah, I mean, good news, he hasn't got any damage. Bad news, he's down in 19th, and it's an absolute disaster for the pole man. Yet again, I think last week he was up there in qualifying and it just didn't go his way, and it's happened again here in Interlagos. Barak had a chance, a very legitimate chance, of knocking Furious off the top of the standings. That has all gone up in smoke, and now you're looking at the likes of Flopman, the likes of Ryan, you know, to bring the fight to Furious, and Furious maybe look to extend as he gets a little bit squirrely on the exit of Pico de Pato.
Could we see a McLaren 1-2 perhaps in this race? Brandon and Ryan are looking pretty decent right now. Gabor with a bit of a sideways moment coming out of John Sauer as well. Lose at the time now to Brando. Brando now is on the back of him in towards the left-hand return number 1. And is he going to be close enough to the back of the Ferrari? The Ferrari, in fact, has got too much closing speed. He's going to have to go for the move on Flopman. Into the lead of the race he goes, Furious out of nowhere on the back of Ryan, gets the job done, and now we're into a rinse and repeat all over again between these 5. Gabor leads the way, Flopman in 2nd, Brando there in 3rd. I think everyone is going to stay line astern down the Retroposta in towards the Cedar Lago at turn number 4, and for the first time in this race, apart from Danny Van Ruyten going side by side in the background, on the back of Justin around the outside at turn number 4, what I was about to say is we've got a little bit quiet, but not quite for Danny Van Ruyten because he's picked up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, that's not going to do him any favour, especially how close this field is. 3 seconds is going to, you know, cost you so much time. That's probably the difference. You know, that's probably points gone right there. 3-second penalty, points gone. Which is how close and competitive this field is. And, well, actually, looking particularly between 7th and 8th, Cameron Downs, you've got a bit of work to do because you need to get back inside that DRS window. It's the top 7 look like they might have broken away.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, Cameron Dowd is a very talented driver. 1.4 seconds around this track is very, very difficult to come back from, unless you've got the ERS of an absolute stallion, as Furious goes on the outside line of Gabor. Could be 3 wide in towards turn 1, certainly going to be 2 wide in towards turn 1. Gabor and Furious fighting side by side, the Haas and the Ferrari, on board with Brando's perspective, who could get the run at both of them down the Retroposta. Here he comes on that set of medium compound tyre, on the back of Furious. Furious down to the outside line of Gabor once again. It's round 2 once again. Why has this happened to me? Inside line of turn number 1. Sorry to cut you off, everyone. My OBS is just disconnected. Hopefully I'm back now. Flopman leads the way. Good ball there in second. Furious in third. Brando in fourth. And Ryan ran off the top 5. Gabor on the back of Flopman. Down the straight. In toward the left-hander of turn number 4. Can't get the move done. Flopman leads the way. Gabor in second. Furious in third. Hopefully we are back. And hopefully my call comms is back as well.
Yeah. Are we good? Are we alive?
We are. My OBS just decided to die on itself, and my laptop turned off the Wi-Fi. Absolutely brilliant.
There you go. But we're back. We're still alive. Flopman leading the way for Williams. Gabor tucking in. Well, I say tucking in behind. Well, Flopman's dropped about half a second. That's not going to really do much, I think, knowing how this game is. Gabor nicely tucking behind the Williams. How's Cameron Dow's doing down in 8th? He's closed the gap a little bit. He's taken a couple tenths out. And he's nearly there. In fact, he's very nearly there. He's just going to miss out on the DRS by a couple hundredths. Is the Scotsman. And now the two McLarens doing battle. And the front three are going to do battle. It's going to be nearly 3 wide. Gabor into the lead. Furious to take over from Flopman in P2 as well. So, Flopman from P1 to P3. Quantum and Brando also doing battle through the centre. It's a bit of wheel banging. And now, we enter the Retroposta once again, but it's Mercedes versus McLaren like we've seen a lot already this season. What's going on at the front? Furious? Like, why are you looking for the inside of Gabor into turn 4? Goodness me, that's bold and brave on lap 13 of 36.
Absolutely mental racing going on right now. Honestly, it is absolutely brilliant. Hopefully everything is all good with the stream, by the way. Hopefully everything is back to normal. Good old OBS reset just did the trick, I think. Gabor though leading the way. Furious in second, Flopman there in third, and Ryan, Quantum, Brando and Chelsea. They're still 1.5 seconds clear Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd was closing into that battle, but because they've been fighting so aggressively this lap, that's why Cameron Dowd is bringing that gap down to 1.3, 1.4. Final sector definitely looking strongest, I think. Or the middle sector, sorry, looking very strong right now for Cameron Dowd. Everywhere else out on the track, where there's DRS zones and where there's more straights, Cameron Dowd can't catch. So he's in a bit of no man's land, and he's got Justin Gavano for company. Barack's left the session. Furious, Gabor side by side, Ryan and Quantum side by side. Flopman, however, along with Brando and Chelsea, into the pit lane. And I am not surprised that they've came at this point, because normally I would say lap 13, lap 14 is the time to pit in on that set of hard compound tyres, which is what they're doing.
Yeah, all 3 medium runners into the pit lane at the end of lap 13. And we're just seeing how that affects the rest of their Grand Prix as Giovanno getting a little bit too eager, and Volokong will say thank you very much, and he'll slide into P7 just like that. But yeah, the medium runners coming in. It'll be interesting to see how much they're affected by being on the hard tyre at this stage of the Grand Prix now. Of course, they'll get a bit of an undercut. Heck, they might even, pull clear brake DRS and make it a leading train of 3. But those medium tyres, it'll be see how much more effective they are in comparison in the second half of the Grand Prix, and if that leaves them, those that start on the mediums, a little bit defenceless. We're about to find out.
Yeah, definitely. So Cameron Dowd has lost a lot of ground. 2.4 seconds now, the gap between Quantum and Cameron Dowd. These guys should be into the pit lane. They're not. The top 4 continuing on, and now Ryan sets his sights on Gabor once again. The McLaren out of the slipstream, trying to go around the outside. Gabor deep on the brakes to try and cover off the move. And he does do that for now. Furious leading the way. Gabor in second, Ryan in third, Quantum there in fourth. Remember, they're on that set of hard compound tyres. Flopman and the lights did pit in from that set of medium compound tyre. And look in the relation to where Tom is. Tom, who's on 6-7 lap old mediums, was 5 tenths off at the start of this lap. At the start of the next lap, he's 2.5 seconds off the back. And Brando and Flopman have not used any ERS at all. That is how aggressive the mediums lose their tread and lose their tyre wear around this track. Tom, 2.5 seconds now behind. He may as well come in for a set of hard compound tyres if he's got a set, because there is no way, as Quartz retires from the race, There is no way, I think, for Tom to get on the back of these two because they're just going to pull away up the road and then hit traffic with Joe Murphy and Barak, who I think is back in the session.
Yeah, I think Barak was. Yeah, I think he did get back in the session, so still life in the Haas in this Brazilian Grand Prix for the time being. And yeah, Furious, Gabor, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, if the mediums have gone off that early, expect these guys on the hard compound tyres to run a lot longer. You know, we're probably looking, I'd say, lap 20 odd before these guys come in. So a massive split in the strategy. So yeah, two different races going on, and it seems like it's, you know, Furious, Gabor, Ryan, and Quantum going for the hards to mediums, and then it's your other three of Brando, Flopman. Who was the other one that came in?
Chelsea down at the back of the field. Oh,
Chelsea.
He just came in.
What has happened to Chelsea?
I think has he had a crash out on track? Oh, did he have front wing damage? Oh no, he's had a crash, yeah. Front wing damage on the right side end plate into the car, now coming into the pit lane. So Chelsea's had a moment, I think, coming out of the pits or coming out on track on his outlap, and Chelsea has retired from the race. So that is really unfortunate for Chelsea. The NVR man, now part of FRT, of course, these days. Down there in 15th position. Flopman getting past Barak as well. Brando better get past him. Title battle for the lead, though. Ryan on the back of Gabor. On the back of Furious. Ryan looking on the back of him in towards turn one, not quite. Barak is now retired. And now he's retired out on track, which gives me the sense he's had frame rate issues.
Potentially. Or he's just decided to pull the pin and call it a day. We'll see. Hopefully no safety car as Danny Van Ruyten passes Shazoo Tom down the pit straight, and Flopman and Joe Murphy also doing battle. That'll be an interesting move for Flopman to pull off, but I think Brando is going to get past Joe Murphy down this main straight down the retro post. Although Murphy, he's having a go at Flopman. He wants that position back. He's well within his right to take it back. Flopman having to take avoiding action as well from a retiring car, so Brando's got that move done. So Brando, I think, will be effectively in the Grand Prix. Murphy still defending for his life into the middle sector. Brando inside through Fairfield Drew. Has he got the move done, the McLaren? I think he has, just about. But Joe Murphy making life very difficult for your leading two.
And Flopman, apparently, I saw it early on in the chat actually, that he had a bit of a hitbox, and that nearly was proven there because he just nearly hit the back of Joe Murphy. Ran the outside of Magulio. What a move! That is by Flopman. I don't care that Joe Murphy's got left side end plate damage. I don't care he's on 13 lap all the tyres. That is a move for the ages around the outside by Flopman. Beautiful move. He's these into 14. Joe Murphy there down in 15 with that left side end plate damage on the car. Side by side for the race lead. Furious around the outside of Gabor gets the job done. So Furious now leads. Gabor second. Ryan in third. Quantum there in fourth. Needy 3 wide on the background between Cameron Dowds. Justin, who's actually got ahead of him now. Ahead of Cameron Dowds there in fifth. Cameron Dowds now down in sixth. Volokong and Gavano, Cloud LX3, Hazara, Typical and Gatkowski rounding off the top 12 who are yet to still come in the pit lane. Probably a strategy fairly early on from TTM. You guys have been very harsh towards TTM there in the comment section there on YouTube. Furious though, for that particular team, leads the way out in front. He is the current championship leader. He's carrying on. I honestly think Leopard, I know this game quite well, and I've actually done Brazil around this, commentated around Brazil before. I think these guys have got to stick it out until around about lap 22 because they're not going to get to the end of the race until then.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. As Gabor goes on the inside, I'm not going to have a chance to mention it now. Gabor on the inside for Ferrari, job done. Can Ryan and Quantum fly through. Cameron Dowds and Volokongan and Justin all doing battle through the centre race. Cameron Dowds gets through and tries to now check out Volokongan and Justin do battle. Don't hold tyres, lads. That's way too close to comfort. Justin plants the ERS. He wants out of that battle, and he gets out of it just in time. He slots in back into P6 in behind Cameron Dowds. That was way too close to comfort between Justin and Volokongan. Thankfully, they've made it out alive. But yeah, I was mentioning, because those medium tyre runners went in so early, Brando and Flopman and Chelsea, you know, they came in on like lap 12 or 13. Well, yeah, it was end of lap 13. They all three of them came in. You know, if that's how early they need to pit, yeah, as you mentioned, these hard tyre runners have at least, you know, a good 3, 4, maybe even 5 laps before they come into the pits. What's wrong with coming now?
Kenzie, by the way, has just woken up from his slumber, it seems, because he's just realised that you're the LCR leopard joining me in the commentary box. Anyways, Gabor leads the way. Here we go. Battle for the race lead again. Furious on the back of Gabor. On the outside line in towards turn number 1. Ryan is going to stick back for now. Maybe go for the move down in towards turn number 4 to see the Del Lago. Furious now leads the way. Championship leader back in position right now. Justin on the back of Cameron Dad, just in the top of screenshot there, now on board with them. Coming down the hill and towards turn number 4. Volakongan, Gavano. Could be sending our sights up for a little bit of legacy division with these 4 teams, or 3 teams even, battling. Gavano goes around the outside of Volakongan to the outside line of turn number 4. Volakongan hangs on to the inside line, now run up the hill. Gavano surely not trying this up the hill, in towards Ferradura. Gavano to the inside line, that's why he was signed back to Team TF10. Gavano through, and he's into 7th. That was absolutely ruthless by the Alpine. Cloud Alex V now getting on the fight in behind with Volakongan. It's let that old can of worms open. Indeed, and now Cloud Alex V to the inside, the American gets the job done. Typical to the inside on the back of his over, doesn't get the move done. But that was marvellous racing from Gavano. That was intuitive, instinctive. That's why Team TF10 signed him back.
He's not the race though. He's not the race with young son. That's going to leave run. He's not going to have DRS either. So Cameron does adjust and broken clear for Aston Martin Ferrari, and now the Alpine of Gavano displays absolute brilliance up into Ferradura. Is now going to be vulnerable to the 2 charging
3 wide.
Here comes Cloud and Volakongan. They've dispatched the Alpine.
What a move!
Volakongan's got 2 for 1. Job done. Brilliant from Volakongan.
But is he going to come back at him, though, down the straight? Furious and Gabor side by side as well. This is all kicking off. Cameron Tax and Justin are side by side. We don't know where to turn. Cloud Alex V, the move I'm on, the battle that I wanted and the move that I was going to go on board with, didn't even happen in the end. That is just typical of the racing standards here. In WOR, Furious leads the way. Gabor there in 2nd, Ryan in 3rd, Quantum there in 4th. However, we're going to have to turn our attentions to the front 4 because right now they are going to be thinking about one eye in the pit lane, and they will be coming in maybe from this lap. I think we could see maybe a split 2 and 2, or could we see all 4 potentially come in at the same time? We're about to find out. Coming through Junsao once again. Furious not desperately trying to get away, which makes me think he's actually going to stay out another lap, which he does, and in fact all of them do. So all of them stay out. Ryan on the back of Gabor, Gabor now on the back of Furious. Gabor definitely instinctive to take the race lead, however the rest is just sitting in behind as Gavano is into the pit lane to come off that set of hearts.
Yeah, decided wanted no part of that battle. Decides, you know what, I'm going to come in, get on the mediums early and try and go for a bit of an undercut. Sure, he'll be a little bit vulnerable towards the end of the Grand Prix on his more worn medium tyres, but we'll see if the time he gains through the undercut is worth it. That also might actually force, you know, Cloud LXV, Volakongan, Hazara, Typical and co, you know, all into the pit lane, maybe a tad earlier than they'd have liked. We'll see. We'll see if they respond.
We will definitely see if they respond indeed. We are now halfway through. More than halfway through as Gabor gets a right snap of oversteer coming out of turn number 9 there. In towards Duckbill corner at turn number 10. Beacon of Pato. Gabor now leading the way from Furious in 2nd. Ryan in 3rd. It's all Constantine up towards the front end. Quantum has been there. He's like a silent assassin, I think, in this battle. He's just came out of nowhere. Just been hunting on the back of this pack. Then these guys do their own thing. And then he will come and strike. But he has got that right side end plate damage on that car that he needs to fix. And he doesn't decide to come in the pit lane, nor do they all. Ryan now on the back of both of them to the inside line of turn number 1. It goes to the outside line this time. And in the end, Furious is ahead of Gabor. So Furious leads. Gabor 2nd, Ryan in 3rd. Justin and Cameron Dads are going at it for about the 20th time I think I've seen in about 3 laps. And now they're going to go side by side again down the hill and towards turn number 4. Cameron Dads, if you can do one, I can overtake better than you, my friend. The fine Scotsman flies past Justin to the inside line of turn number 4. Job done before you even get to the corner. Cameron Dads through and he's into 5th. But because they're fighting aggressively, that gap is stagnated. And the gaps ahead have stagnated as well. So Cameron Dowds and Justin aren't making any inroads on that current front 4.
No, they're not. And to be honest, I think because likes of Gabor, Ryan and Quantum, I mean, sure Furious doesn't have DRS or whoever's lean doesn't have DRS, but because all these guys have DRS, you know, they're able to pull clear down the retroposter, down, you know, up the hill, down the main pit straight. Whereas Cameron Downs and Justin, they only have each other. They're doing it all on their own, so they can do all the work they like in the middle sector, and it just gets undone. You know, here as Gabor in first.
Interesting, and he's the only one to pit in out of this front 4. Cameron Downs and Justin are Passing on the right-hand side of the track, just through on Cameron Dad, but Gabor is into the pit lane. Medium compound tyres will go on. Remember what we saw earlier on, 14 laps they lasted, so they should get to the end of the race, but at what cost are these tyres going to be? Flopman is ahead, quite comfortably actually, of Gabor. Gabor is coming out of the pit lane right now. It's going to be Gabor against Danny Van Ruyten out of the pit lane, but Gabor's in clear air. Gabor is in clear air to Flopman and Brando, so Brandon and Flopman have got their own battle. Gabor there in third, and a net P3 right now is 7 seconds behind. That gap is going to come down so quickly, it's beyond belief. Gabor, 7 seconds. That will come down in the next 5 laps. And if it doesn't, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, I mean... goodness me, Flopman. Again, and now Brando's pulling all sorts of shapes into Pico de Passa. What are you two doing, lads? I know you're under threat from Gabor, but it's not with you just yet. It's only just pitted. Still got another 6.5 seconds to gain. And they're already panicking and pulling all sorts of shapes through the middle sector. Just about managed to keep their retrospective cars facing the right way. I think is it Justin who's also bailing from the hard sides? It is. So one Ferrari in, one lap. The next Ferrari in the lap after.
And I think he's going to be behind Tom and Danny Van Ruyten here, and maybe even behind Gavano. Gavano was ahead of him, remember, out on track before these pit stops happen, and Justin is coming out behind Gavano, quite comfortably. In fact, Gavano is ahead, so that's going to put Justin against the 8 ball. He's going to now be behind DRS range on the back of Gavano, which is very dangerous to have around this track. And look at the gap, it's 1.7 seconds coming out the pit lane. So these guys, Furious, Ryan, Quantum, Cameron Dowd, especially the top 3, I think, have got to respond to come in the pit lane this time around. Unless they're trying the unthinkable and going for a set of soft compound tyre, which are very quick, but they also weigh at about 8% per lap, so probably best of all.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, again, they've all stayed out. To be honest, you mentioned the soft tyre. I mean, they've done 26 laps. But realistically, we're only a couple more laps away from soft compound tyre territory, aren't we?
We are. And that's why they're going to stay out there until that set of softs comes to them. But at what cost? Because Gabor, the gap, has just set the fastest lap of the race, speaking of him. 5.5 seconds behind Brando and Flopman. That's came down 2 seconds in the last 2 laps. So that is, what, a second gained a lap? A second and a half gained a lap? Something like that. Gabor is closing that gap down on Brando and Flopman. Furious, Ryan, Quantum leading the top 3. Cloud cover beginning to slightly build over the circuit, which makes me think, as Gatkowski's left the session, Tom has lost positions as well further down the field. That's coming through, I think, the first sector. Furious still leading the way, Ryan in second, Quantum in third. The cloud cover's definitely building over the circuit. Oh my god, Ryan nearly lost the car. Coming through turn number 11 at Mergudio, very lucky to stay alive in the race. These guys have got to come into the pit lane this time around, because these hards, if Ryan's spin, or Ryan's half spin wasn't anything to go by, these tyres are shot, and Furious knows it. Oh, I thought he was coming in the pit lane. They stay out again. Set of softs is definitely going to be the tyre.
I think a set of softs as Cloud LXV is making his way past Cameron Downs. Is Volcon going to follow suit? No, he's too far back. So Cloud LXV past Cameron Downs. You mentioned the cloud cover. That could be the other thing they're holding out for. Rain, inters. If it starts to rain, you know, they'd have seen it on their monitors before the race started. They would have seen rain at the end of the race. It's a gamble. Ooh. Huge gamble, in fact, as Brando's making a move.
Interesting.
I think he's got the move done.
I think Flopman actually let Brando through, which is really strange to have. I think that might have been because they're catching the guys ahead. Well, I can't even speak. Yet they're still to come in the pit lane. Brando and Flopman feel the threat from Gabor in behind. They do not want to catch this train if they're not coming in for another 2 or 3 laps. And that's why I think Flopman has done that. He's behind, and now Gabor goes for the inside line of Gatkowski. Easy as you like. Gatkowski's not even in this race, I don't think, at the minute. He's there in 11th. Gabor now 4 seconds in behind these two. They do not want to catch these guys. They continue on the top 3. These guys might continue on as well. And if they continue on, which they all are, Brando and Flopman do not want to catch this battle. It is the worst possible thing for them to happen. They're going to fight with each other down the straight. Flopman overtakes Brando once again. But look at the gap. That gap is going out rather than coming in.
Yeah, well, It's just good thought, man. Take it easy on the curb, please. There's no need to run the risk. Honestly, there isn't. Goodness me, just give me a heart attack, Flopman. Well, both these guys are giving me heart attacks. Flopman and Brando combined are just absolutely going mental with the oversteer. Luke says in chat, rain scheduled. I think so. With the overcast, I think there's rain on the way towards the end. It's that situation where that last cloud you see on the dashboard.
Here we go. And I think the cloud cover...
It's a bit of rain.
The cloud cover in the distance, right from the right-hand side of the track. It's normally from turn number 12 where it comes in, the rain band. And I think it's going to come too late, personally. I think it's going to come too late. But these guys are still holding that. These guys definitely want to try and hold on. Quantum now going on the back of Ryan. Furious goes for the race lead. These guys are going to play mind games. Cameron Dowds are staying out as well. All of them are staying out. Flopman and Brando, by the way, still 2.6 seconds. That gap between Flopman, Brando and Typical, still around 2.6 seconds. They're not closing in on that gap whatsoever. The sun is still out on track right now. Lap 29 out of 36. The more that we continue on, the more they're going to have to think about coming in the pit lane. There is definite rain incoming. It's just whether or not it's going to get here before the end of the race. I am absolutely convinced it's not. But I could be wrong.
I mean, well, we've seen with this game in previous editions that it can just suddenly, like that, suddenly there's rain. And next thing you know, within a lap, it's ready for Inters. Who knows? It's a fascinating ending to the Brazilian Grand Prix. We're about to hit lap 30 of 36. And it's anybody's guess on which, I guess, group of cars has got it right. Has Gabor got it right going early onto the mediums? Was it Flopman and Brando? Have they got it right? Going from medium to halves? Or is it the your current front three? Furious, Ryan and Quantum holding out for a set of intermediate tyres for potential impending rain. Cloud XV passes Cameron Downs again down into turn one. Volokongren slots in just behind as he has done for so long. Hazara lighting up the rears out of turn one. That's going to potentially be vulnerable to Typical. But if you're Brando, if you're Flopman, even if you're Gabor, you might want to start thinking about trying to reel these guys in, because if it does rain, that's it. You know, they're so far behind them, they're not going to have a chance. They are, if they don't catch them quickly enough, they are relying on the rain gods, basically delaying. As I can put it, stalling.
Dirk in the chat actually is saying there's raining coming in 5 minutes. If there's raining coming in 5 minutes, this track is not going to be wet enough before the end of the race. They have made a foolish decision, I think, to stay on the set of hard compound tyre. Right, I could be wrong. 6 laps to go, I could be absolutely wrong. And if I am, then so be it. But I am convinced that this rain is not coming. Ryan's into the pit lane. He knows this rain is not coming. He's into the pit lane, set a soft compound tyres on. These cars have got to be, these tyres have got to be absolutely shot for everyone continuing on. Ryan has jumped the bullet. He's going now for a set of soft compound tyre on that car. But he's behind Gabor, he's behind Flopman, he's behind Brando. The front three are going to be Flopman, Brando and Gabor. Whatever order it's going to be. It's simply too far from Justin Gabbana to catch up, unless it's a safety car. And speaking of which, they're side by side down the straight. Brando on the outside line of Flopman gets the move done. But right now, if I'm betting anyone for this race win, it's the man currently in 10th. It's Gabor, because I think everyone in this other hards have got this wrong. And I think Gabor is going to close in on Flopman and Brando before the end of the race. And I think he's going to be there with the fresh tyres to win this.
Honestly, anybody's guess. If there is rain, if it does come, it depends how heavy it comes down. It really does. And it also depends if, you know, obviously you mentioned Gabor, the man in 10th. His mediums could drop off.
They're still staying out.
Yeah, we could see a crossover. They've stayed out again.
They are still staying out on track. This is absolutely mind-blowing. Unless it's going to rain in the next 30 seconds, which I highly doubt it. Flopman, Brando and Gabor... Yeah, Flopman, Gabor and Brando are going to have to hold out on this dry compound tyre. Lap 32 out of 36. I think it's too late for this rain to affect the track. We are going to see, I think, Inter's final lap of the race. I really do think that, and it's going to be too late. Flopman in 8th, Brando in 9th, Gabor in 10th. They're all together, but they're also catching a big train that hasn't come in the pit lane just yet. This is an extraordinarily fascinating race. I am convinced it is not going to rain, and I am normally 80% spot on with my predictions. I gambled my house earlier on. I'm going to gamble it again and say the rain is going to come. The rain is going to come, but it's not going to affect the track enough for it to be inters. And we're going to see Flopman, Brando, Gabor. I think Gabor winning this. I'm betting that now.
Oh, you're betting the house on Gabor as well. Goodness
me. I am. He's on fresher tyres. He's on much fresher tyres, and they'll get to the end. The hards may not.
He is. I mean, to quote the famous Murray Walker quote, it's one thing catching, it's another thing passing. Both Red Bulls doing battle into turn. Oh, contact between the two Red Bulls. Hello. And now the sister RB of Hazara wants to get involved. Here we go. They're down the retroprost to lap 33 of 36. Brain potential here, but who cares? It's all guns blazing down into turn 4. Can Hazara make the move? Yes, he can. Round the outside of Polakongan. And Hazara's up to P5, albeit with a penalty. But lap 33 of 36, is there rain inbound? And if so, who knows? I asked in chat.
It's raining now! It's raining now! It is raining now on the top of the hill! On board with typical, it is raining now, so maybe these guys have got it right on the set of hards. This is absolutely fascinating. Flopman is now passing typical on the outside line. This rain is going to have to fall at a very intensive rate to affect the track surface. Gabor now to the inside line. Sorry, Brando to the inside line and typical. And now Gabor looking to try and get the move done on the inside line as well. These guys have got to come in the pit lane. The front three, Flopman and Brando and Gabor, have got to stay out on that set of dry compounded tyres. This is tactically fascinating. Everyone into the pit lane. They'll go for the set of instant compounded tyres. Lap 34 out of 36. I've never seen a race like this before. Furious leads, Quantum second. Yet they're still to come in the pit lane. Flopman isn't. He's staying out on that to the hard. Volakongan in fourth. Brando in fifth. Gabor in sixth. The rain is falling now heavily out on track. These guys, apart from Volakongan, Quantum and Furious, who have to make a mandatory pit stop, have to come in the pit lane. These guys, Flopman, Brando, Gabor, have to stay out there, as does Justin, Gabano, Ryan and Tom, I think, because I think it's still too little too late for them to make their move. As now, Gabor to the inside line and Volakongan getting the job done. So now that current front three, Flopman, Brando and Gabor, are clear of traffic, which is good.
Yeah, they've done what they need to do. They've cleared that kind of second trend. Oh, it's dancing on ice through the middle sector. They might be in. Has Cameron Downs, Cloud LXV and Hazara and Co. got it absolutely spot on to perfection?
They might.
I think they might.
They might.
I think they have. I think we're going to see Furious and Quantum into the pits at the end of this lap. Indeed we do! Furious and Quantum Quantum steaming in! Goodness me, he can barely get it stopped! Flopman stays out! Brando stays out! They're going to come out to the end!
They're going to come out ahead, though, of Cameron Downs and the likes. So these guys are actually going to be leading the race here. They are. Because look at where Cameron Downs and the likes are. They're only at turn 14. Quantum is coming out of the pit lane along with Furious. And they're going to be ahead. I'm convinced they're going to be ahead. Coming out of the pit lane here. We'll get a better camera angle, hopefully coming out the pit lane, and they are. They are ahead of Cameron Downs and Cloud LXV. They have played an absolute blinder there. Flopman leads, Brando second, Gabor third, Volakongan still staying out, and then there's a bit of front wing damage. Was that front wing damage coming off of a polystyrene board flying? They've got to stay cool. DRS is now disabled. But Flopman, Brando and Gabor, it's a lap and a half left. The gap between Quantum, 13.6 seconds. That is a huge gap to make in one lap. I'm sorry.
Especially if they are continuing to do battle. Furious up the inside to the middle sector of Quantum. This is not what you need to be doing if you want to claim race victory, lads. So Quantum, after all that, by the way, he's missing half his front wing end plate. He's in the intermediate runners. He's the man in pole position to take this race victory if they can close it enough. If it has rained enough. How are the Snake Tire runners doing? They're still on ice. Volakongan realised he needs to make a pit stop, so he's in at the end of lap 35. I don't know why he left it that late, but he did. Flopman leads to start the final lap here at Interlagos.
Flopman leads, but he's on the razor's edge on this. Who would have thought Flopman would be leading at this stage of the race? I didn't, certainly. Quantum, however, look at the gap. 10.1 seconds. 10 seconds, 9.8. That gap is coming down. It's too little too late. I think they're going to be a lap too late on this. But Flopman is really fighting the car. And he's nearly got a puncture, I think, coming through. My God. Nearly sideways. coming out through the left-hander at turn number 4. Quantum, Furious, and Gavano are ahead. Floatman is struggling now out on track. Brando's struggling. Gaboran's struggling. Quantum could still yet win this. He's there in 5th, and he's absolutely flying the way through the field. There goes Cameron Downs to the inside line as well. Quantum now clear of Ryan. That's the biggest hurdle now passed. Quantum, 5.7 seconds. I think it's too little too late, but they're literally skating on ice ahead. Flopman leading the way through the left-hander at turn number 11. Now through in towards Junsao for the final time. Quantum, I think it's too little too late. I think he might get 3rd, however, on the back of Gabor. Flopman up the hill through Sabrina's boxes for the final time in one of the most mental races I think I've ever bear witness to. Flopman now through the final corner. He's got it right. The Flopman is not a flop anymore. He takes the race win in Console Tier 1. Brando there in 2nd. Quantum in 3rd. He would have wanted that race to be a lap longer, as would the Interrunners. But Flopman takes the race win. Brando in 2nd. I couldn't care less that Gabor's in 6th in the end, by the way. What a race that was. Flopman takes the race win, and he was the one that got it right.
It was the hard tyre runners, after all of that got it right. They were right to start the mediums, going to the hards early at the end of lap 13, and stuck it out. Oh my goodness me. What a Brazilian Grand Prix.
Oh, my voice is gone after that final lap. My God, what an ending. 104 of you, by the way, tuning in for the ending of that race. Thank you to every single one of you that did tune in. What a race that was. I was convinced that the rain was not going to fall, and then it did, and then everything happened. But in the end, Flopman comes out on top, and in the end, he made that pit stop count. With 3 laps to go, the rain started to fall, or 4 laps to go, the rain started to fall. Flopman got it right, as did the man in 2nd. It was a fantastic, fantastic end to that race. God almighty, I need to lie down after that. Bourbon is saying in our Discord comms chat, can I have my house? No, I said Flopman and Thingy would be there right at the end, and I was right. And,
yeah, but you went with Gabor. You bet the house on Gabor, James.
But I went for Gabor because I thought it wasn't going to rain. There we are. And I've got a black screen, so hopefully you can read out the results, unless you have as well.
Yeah, I've got a black screen as well, mate. Sorry.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Anyways, we'll run down the order.
F124 is F124.
Definitely. We'll run down the order, though, of how they finished out on track. Flopman taking the race win from Brando in 2nd, Quantum 3rd, then Cameron Dowd in 4th, Furious in 5th, Gabor, Cloud LXB, Ryan Hazara, typical top 10, Gavano in 11th, with Vola Kongan in 12th, Justin 13th, Tom in 14th, and then Danny Van Ruyten with a penalty further down the field, down in 15th. 15 finishes out of a complete and utter mental race that we had. I'm going to ask to try and see if we can get the top 3 in. I think we need to after that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, I think, I mean, to be honest, you could go down through the entire grid and ask the exact same question and probably get different answers from all of them. But, yeah. Goodness me, what a Brazilian Grand Prix. I mean, that's just Interlagos at its best, isn't it?
You've got to feel sorry for, though, Ryan's mentioned in the Discord, you've got to feel sorry for him, because he pitted, probably listening to us more than likely in the commentary, listening and saying he was convinced, or I was convinced that the rain wasn't going to fall. So he's probably listened to me, and if he has, then I'm sorry, because I've just ruined his race quite literally there. But in the end, you've got to feel very sorry, I think, for him. But you've got to feel very pleased for Flopman because he took that race win. And in the end, who would have thought Quantum would be 3rd with, I think, damage that he picked up, if I'm not mistaken, on the first 2 or 3 laps of that race. And he didn't come into the pit lane to change his wing. Great thing that he didn't, because he would have been out of the points if he did.
Yeah, it'd have lost him. By the time he came for the Inters, he had to just stick it out again. With that wing damage, he'd have lost 7 or so seconds, probably. I think that's roughly the amount of time he would have lost, and, well, he wouldn't have gained that back in a couple laps. So, I mean, quite telling that he would have, that he managed to stay with these guys with half a front wing the entire race. I don't think changing it would have made too much of a difference in the remaining couple laps that we had.
It's absolutely madness, honestly, and I don't know where even to begin with dissecting what happened in that race, because that was just pure madness. It was probably more madness for us in the commentary box, because we were the ones having to bear witness to that, and you guys were just brilliant in bearing witness to that as well. Looking through the calendar, though, while we wait to try and do... Flopman, by the way, has just said he's got a shoey to do. So that's nice, but he's not going to have an interview, which is okay.
You know what? It's a shoe. We'll let him off.
Can we see the shoey recorded and send it to me so I can play it on stream? Is that a thing?
I'll just go on Twitter for everyone else to see afterwards.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Yeah, I'll be retweeting the hell out of that if he does a shoey later on. That is for sure after that race win. Looking through the calendar, though,
It's a lot in life.
we go to Qatar in next week's race, which I'm sure is going to be pure madness again. It is the Lusail International Circuit. It's normally one of those races where all hell breaks loose. There's normally not a threat of rain, normally, but anything can happen. Anything can happen in Qatar, and honestly, it probably will, judging by the amount of overtaking we'll see around there.
Yeah, anything can happen, bar probably rain.
Any
sort of weather.
I had rain around there, a full wet race on F1 23, and it was my final race ever on F1 23.
I think I remember, this is years back, I think it was on F1 2019, I think I was commentating Tier 3 or Tier 4, and I think we had a wet qualifying session at Abu Dhabi. I think that's the only time I remember seeing rain in a league race in the Middle East.
Where did I think Saudi Arabia PC Tier 1, I'm not sure if it was WOR or PSGL, I think was exactly the same as well. So maybe they have a knack of putting in wet races towards the end of a game cycle, who knows. But yeah, we've got a Middle East doubleheader actually coming up before the break week. We've got Qatar and Abu Dhabi for rounds 5 and 6, and then we've got Italy, which I think is Monza if I'm not mistaken, Bahrain for round 8, and then Mexico City, Saudi Arabia, which I've just mentioned, and Japan, round 11 of the championship for ending off the season. However, we've got more to come because PC tiers are going to be live on Monday, of course, and that, of course, is going to be around Qatar, and then we've got Abu Dhabi pretty much following the same calendar. Just different days, of course, all happen on Monday, 7 PM, 8 PM UK time if you do want to tune in for that. PC Tier 1 is also back as well on Sunday, and I believe it's the second race of the championship, and I believe it's Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I don't have the graphic for that. However, I do have the graphic for this. Legacy Division is back for season number 5. Sign-ups are currently live as well. It is console, it is no assist, it's team event. £1,600 of prize pool, and that happens on a Tuesday night. Sign-ups close, of course, on August 30th. So if you haven't already, get your teams involved. No matter if it's PS or Xbox, we are forgiving. No matter if it's if it's a no assist team, you're more than welcome to be invited to qualify for Legacy Division for for season number 5. And we go back to the old format because Portugal starts off with qualifiers. Luke obviously hates Portugal because he hasn't put it in the full calendar. But we go 2 weeks we wait 2 weeks after qualifiers to go racing for round 1 on the championship in Monaco. Then it's Abu Dhabi, Singapore for a sprint race, Bahrain, Qatar, and then Saudi Arabia to end off the first round of 6 races even. And then it's Australia, China, Spain, Imola, Azerbaijan, and Netherlands. Sao Paulo, Miami, Las Vegas, Mexico, Canada, and Texas. Miami and Canada being sprint races along with China and Azerbaijan. And then, to round off the season, Japan, Hungary, Britain, Austria, Italy, and Belgium. Very good end to the season. And yours truly will be on the commentary once again for season number 5. Because I'm delighted to confirm I will be alongside Jota for Legacy Division season number 5. Not sure if there was going to be an announcement put out by that, but I may as well exclusively reveal it on this live stream. Legacy Division is back, and so will I be, which I hope, Leopard, is not a bad thing, given how people might have liked the commentary that we've just done.
We'll see. We'll see. No, good to have... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, you.
I was going to say, yeah, hopefully it will be really, really good. It is season number 5 coming up. Qualifiers, Portugal, Monaco round 1, that traditional start off in the night conditions, of course. and hopefully it's going to be really good. Sign-ups, of course, close in 3 weeks' time, actually, 30th of August, so get involved. If your team wants to get involved, please do, because it is a fantastic event to be a part of, and of course, still sponsored by Gridfinder and Next Level Racing. And I spot the Team Chazoo logo up there, which makes me think they're a part of a sponsor as well, which is always, always good. But let's deep dive, I think, into the end of that race, because it was just absolute pure madness. We're not going to get any interviews tonight, but to round us off, talk us through what happened in that race and talk us through what's going to be coming up going into next week, which of course is Qatar. If he's here.
Sorry, am I going or?
Yeah.
There's a breakdown in communication. So... great way to end the stream. Yeah, I mean, that ending to the Grand Prix with the rain was, I mean, it was madness. I mean, you can throw out any word, can't you? Madness, chaotic, just pure pandemonium with the rain. There was about 3 different strategies that we had, obviously, going. Also, we had the 2 slick tire strategies. Also, me and you, James, we thought they were holding out for soft tires, and then we saw it getting a bit cloudy, and then, obviously, a couple of the guys got in chat and mentioned that rain was inbound, but maybe a bit too late to potentially make it work. And in the end, it was a toss of a coin where to stay out or box for a set of inters. When it came down to, of course, a few of the drivers who had stayed out, they'd have had their hand forced, they'd have had to come in and gamble on the inter. And in the end, you know, Quantum was what, a second off? And it was probably, if it wasn't for, you know, meeting cars in the wrong places or a bit of battling when it didn't need to happen, it could have potentially, you know, Quantum and Furious, I believe, could have ended up winning that race, or at least having a 1-2. In the end, it's how it all panned out, and Flopman got the win by staying out on those hard compound tires.
And do you know what? He absolutely deserved it as well, I think Flopman did. He deserved that. So did Brando, finishing P2. To stay out for 23 laps on that set of hard compound tyres is very difficult. But when you add pretty much ice skating rink conditions out there at the end of the race, it is something to try and drive on. Luke saying in the Tier 1 chat as well, apparently Flopman was crying to him all week about equal cars, and then he goes on and wins the race. So Flopman has definitely done the reverse psychology there, I'm sure, on himself, rather than anybody else. But in the end, takes a really well-deserving race win. It's a pity that we can't interview him, but Flopman definitely deserves that race win. And at least he's won it on track this week and not going for a racing incident move like he did last week on Cameron Dowds in Belgium. Definitely has learned his lesson from that, I'm absolutely sure. But we're going to end off the stream. You're probably sick of hearing my voice, and certainly sick of hearing Leopard's voice as well for tonight.
What did I do?
But it's been an absolute...
What have I done?
It's been an absolute pleasure. It is an absolute pleasure, though, to bring you the console Tier 1 action. Gareth Davies and Mr. Voss Greenhorn should be back next week, I really hope. If not, I will be stepping in, I'm sure, once again for console Tier 1. If you did enjoy that stream, and if you did enjoy that stream even, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you are brand new to the channel. We're going to be back with you in a week's time in Qatar. Of course, PC Tier 1 to look forward to, along with the rest of the PC tiers, of course, on Monday. PC Tier 1 happening on Sunday as well. But for myself, from Mr. LCL Leopard alongside me in the comment box, thank you so much for watching. Background music's on a little bit too intermittent there. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, next week in Canada, goodbye.